She was born in England in the year 1240. Her father cared more about drinking than working. He had 5 daughters, and he did not save money for any of them. She was the second youngest. By the time she reached 15, people in the village said she was the most beautiful girl around. A general from the king's army even wanted to marry her. His family asked for a large dowry, but her father had wasted his money on ale and weddings for the older sisters. He could not afford anything. Then he heard that the church was paying families if their daughters joined the convent. He did not ask her what she wanted. He only thought, God will take care of her, and the silver will take care of me. The very next morning, men from the church came. They grabbed her and took her away. They shaved her long hair in front of everyone. The hair that strangers once praised fell to the ground like dead leaves. They gave her a rough black dress that smelled old and damp. When she saw her reflection, she did not see beauty anymore. She saw a prisoner. At the convent, she expected prayer and quiet singing. Instead, the priest placed a brush in her shaking hands and ordered her to scrub the huge stone floor. Her knees burned, her hands blistered. When the sun rose, she finally stopped. But the priest said it was not good enough. He told her to wake up at 4 every morning. There were no excuses in God's house. Sleep disappeared from her life. The bells rang before the sky even lightened. She knelt for hours while the nuns prayed in Latin. Her empty stomach twisted. Her head felt light. When she saw an apple near the altar, she reached for it without thinking. The priest struck her hand and said new nuns must fast for 3 days with only water. This is how you become pure. Nights were even worse. She slept on cold stone with nothing soft under her bones. Wind pushed through cracks in the walls. Rats crawled nearby, looking warmer than she was. She wondered if this was truly God's plan, or if the priest simply enjoyed watching them suffer. One afternoon, she found a sick peasant boy outside the gate. He was shaking, skin cold, nearly dead. She gave him 2 apples she had stolen from the storage room. When the boy smiled weakly, she felt like a real human again. But a senior nun watched from the shadows. The nun called her a thief and said, helping the poor without permission was a sin. They dragged her to the priest, and he ordered 10 days without food. She almost cried, but a visiting high priest came into the room. He said that helping the poor was serving God and she should be forgiven. She could hardly breathe from relief. But later that night, he found her alone. He whispered that she owed him for his kindness. She tried to run, but he grabbed her. Her vows were broken by force. She lay awake after, staring at the roof, knowing no one would ever believe her side of the story. Weeks passed. Her belly slowly grew. She knew whose child it was. When the nuns noticed, they yelled that she was a sinner who had ruined holy ground. They did not listen to her cries. They threw her out into the village. She begged her father for help, but he pushed her away and said she had disgraced the family. She slept in barns. She ate scraps tossed for animals. Villagers called her names and spat on her. She became a servant cleaning toilets for nobles who laughed at her pain. Then the plague arrived. It spread fast like a silent shadow. People coughed, bled, and died in the streets. The healthy ran away, but she and others like her were forced to stay. She cared for the dying, carried bodies to pits, and breathed in death every day. Her weak body could not fight sickness anymore. When she fell ill, no one helped her. They tossed her onto a cart filled with other plague victims. There were no prayers, no tears, not even a name. The cart rolled to the cliffs and dumped the dead into the sea. The waves swallowed her and erased every trace she had lived. She had entered the world beautiful and full of hope. But she was sold for coins, starved for purity, punished for kindness, and destroyed by the same church that claimed to protect souls. So when people say the Middle Ages were full of knights and romance, remember this. For many girls, nothing was worse than being forced to live and die as a medieval nun.